Okay. My testimony starts like this. I started a whole body cleansing program, which was with supplement. And at the same time, I was cleaning my diet. For some reason, I felt inclined to watch what I was eating, cleaning my diet, and then changes started happening on me that I was rejecting anything that has to do with meats, anything like that. Something that I never thought about. I'm a very finicky eater, but at the same time, I'm not just, I mean, I will eat whatever I am given. I wasn't actually assessing what I was putting in my mouth. But suddenly then I started looking into eating more organic, drinking more water, purified water, not just bottled water, but purified water. And all those things started happening. And the supplier that supplied me with the supplements, I don't think they have an understanding that when you are cleansing your body, there is something that can be triggered called a healing crisis. Suddenly one morning I woke up and I felt totally lost. I felt like something switched in my head. Something definitely changed, but it was from 1 minute to the other. I was feeling a lot of fear, a lot of depression, a lot of things that I never been a depressed person. I never had any medical or mental issues. I mean, ever I have any kind of health issues. So I didn't know where it was coming from, and I started searching because I immediately hit the Google and started searching, and it came out healing crisis, which has another very strange name, Exheimer or something like that. Whatever it was, anybody interested, just search for um, um, how it's called, physical healing crisis or healing crisis. Don't put physical because there is some aspect that I didn't know and I learned along the way. And I'm telling you, this is not something that happened last year or 6 months ago or 7 months ago. I'm talking about the max is 5 weeks that I fell into this pit that I never knew how I was going to get out of it. So I started feeling, as I said, very depressed, negative thoughts in my head, things that I never thought about started coming into my head. My body was just crashing on me. I didn't know. So I contacted the supplier, and apparently they didn't know what I was talking about, even that there is a medical board that keep these people in top of what they are selling. I'm assuming so. But the person that I spoke with, which is the main person in this company, she said, well, I heard about it. Well, healing crisis is a very well-known event on people that are started to either clean their diet and get into a more cleaner um, uh, um, lifestyle. It can be triggered by a deep massage. It can be triggered by a change of diet, a change of a spiritual thinking. I mean, it can be triggered by anything. And I'm telling you, if you are thinking on going into any kind of cleansing, please check on this event because it is critical that everybody knows what they are going into, from yoga to massage to vegan diet to vegetarian diet, whatever it is. Do it first because it's not for the light-hearted. Okay. That was my experience. Now I'm into this situation that I do not understand, that I cannot explain to a doctor, that if I go to a psychiatrist, they are going to give me medications, which I never ever had any kind of mental issues. and I didn't know what I was. It's a totally lonely place that I know, unless you are in this path, will understand what is happening. Okay. Now, as I said, I'm in the situation on I don't know where to turn to, and things keep getting worse and worse. So I said, or let's put it this way, I think it was downloaded to me to look into spiritual healing, because part of the physical detox, it includes mental detox, emotional detox, spiritual detox. So it's something that encapsulates everything of what you are, everything of your lifestyle. Everything is affected when you get into a healing crisis, every aspect. So I went through the physical. The physical can be very challenging, from fevers, skin rashes, loss of appetite. I have lost about, in the past 5 weeks, I have lost about 11 pounds. And I mean, it's a lot. Oh, the main one is the sleep disturbances, very vivid sleeps, and very vivid dreams. And all that was happening to me. So when I was reading online all these symptoms, I said, well, I'm in a healing crisis. But the physical, I already surpassed. Now I'm into the emotional, which is a million times worse than the physical healing crisis. It is very involving. It is very a lonely place to be. It is something that is just for being put in a psychiatric ward, and be prepared for it. And it's the good thing about it is temporary. Okay. Now I said, okay, I'm on the emotional aspect of this healing crisis, which is a good thing that happens, because once your body detox, it detox, and your body is clean, your system is clean, and that is good. The same thing with the emotional. Once your emotional issues are cleansed by the detox, once you continue your lifestyle of clean living, you are out of the, or you are, let's put it, you are healed, because it's nothing bad, it's something good. Your body, your mind are healing. The only thing that is very challenging. I look into the spiritual, and I said, okay, I'm going to need a spiritual healer to see if they can, or someone can throw some light into the situation, because it's really difficult to navigate it by yourself. And God and behold, I find my guardian angel in Ursula. And there is where she comes into the picture. As soon as I explained to her that I did a body cleansing, she finished the sentence saying, and now you are in a healing crisis. I have spoken to other people, to other healers that I have called and I made contact with. And once I tried to explain and I said, this is what is going on, the answer has been, yes, I have heard of it. Well, it's nothing. This is very serious. And I don't want anyone to say, oh, yes, I have heard of it. I want somebody that really knows where I'm at, really understands where I'm at, and just guide me and give me the hands so I can move forward with this that I have to go through. The first thing that Ursula told me is, more than a healing crisis, you are going through your awakening. And I will say that I have heard about the spiritual awakening. I will say that I have read about it. I never thought that I was going to go through something like that, which is actually what I'm going through at this very time and moment in my life, is a spiritual awakening that was triggered by the healing crisis. And this I recognize by the conversations and the session, my first session that I had with Ursula. She tells me, you are going through your ascension, and those are symptoms of ascension. Okay. So that very session, I'm gonna step back a little bit and tell you what had happened before we had the session, which was last Monday, not this Monday, the one before, with Angela. I Googled her and I went to her YouTube channel, and there are 4 or 5 conferences that she has presented into the church here in Atlanta. So I was listening almost the whole afternoon on Ursula's conference in the center in Atlanta. And, it was about 4 or 5. I listened to all of them. They are about 45 minutes each one. I listened to every single one of them. By the time I finished, it was maybe like 9 o'clock at night. That day that I was watching the videos, it was the first cold spell in Atlanta, and the temperature at night was 39. Okay, I finished listening to Ursula's conference. At the end of each conference, she does her final prayer, and it was 4 or 5 final prayers. I turned the TV off, and I go to sleep because, as I said, it was very cold. So I have my PJs, my blankets, everything was ready. Okay, this is where the things get tricky. In the middle of the night, I start feeling like I had a warm blanket over I won't say over my body, but mostly over my bed. That day, my husband slept in the other room because I was watching Ursula's videos and he wanted to go to sleep. So he went to the other bedroom. I was in the bed by myself. So I woke up feeling this blanket, this warm blanket over me, that it felt so warm. I mean, it felt like a sauna. So I took all the things that I had on, I threw it away, the blankets, I threw it away, and it got so hot that I had to take my PJ off, and I had to sleep on my underwear. I was basically naked in bed. That hot this room was. There was no heater in the house. There was nothing, absolutely nothing. So went back to sleep. I felt like that warmth, went back to sleep. And I'm the one that usually sleeping in the house. My husband gets up early. My sons gets up early. So I was the late sleep. My son knocked at my door to check on me. And he came in and he said, "Oh my God, do you have the heater here?" And I said, "I don't have any heater. Do you feel heat?" I said, "The whole house is cold because the heater is not on, but this room feels like a sauna." And I said, "Oh my God, I really don't know, but I was sweating last night that I had to take everything off." He said, "Well, it's very warm in here." Didn't pay any attention to what had happened. I didn't connect this with the prayers that Ursula did the night before. When you are in this crisis, you are lost. You need as much guidance as possible, because sometimes you are in one place, the other time you are in the other place. That's why it's so scary. That's why it's so depressing, because you lose your whole identity completely. You don't know where you are at sometimes. And definitely, it has nothing to do with mental issues. It has nothing to do with physical issues. It has something to do with something else, that unless you find someone like Ursula that give you the light and said, "Okay, Ursula, are you there?"
Yes.
Oh, because for me, it locked. I don't know why.
Yeah, it froze for a second, but the audio's still working.
Yeah, let's see, because you can hear me, right?
I can hear you, but your image froze.
Now.
There you go. Okay.
Okay. So unless you find someone that is really educated, because this is a real thing. This is nothing that your mind is creating. This is nothing that doctors know about it. This is nothing like the priest, the pastor, the rabbi, unless they know what an ascension is, what a healing crisis is, you are not going to get any help whatsoever, because this is very confusing. That's the only way I can say. It's very confusing. So now it's Monday. It is time for my session with Ursula, my first session. And we did like a getting acquainted type of session. And at the end of the session, Ursula did her prayer, her treatment. Okay. When you are in this state, you are, as I said, your sleep is very disturbed. You sleep, you wake up in the middle of the night, very common in this. If you Google it and you read it and you really get educated, which I suggest everybody to get very educated on this, you wake up in the middle of the night, you can have nightmares or you can have dreams that you don't care about. Very seldom you have a really restful sleep, and it's part of the process. It's very, very disturbing, but it's part of the process and it will pass. So my first session with Ursula, at the end, she did the prayer. Well, that night, I slept through the whole night. No bad dreams, no nightmares, nothing. I have gotten to the point that I'm afraid to go to bed, and that bad it is. And you're talking to a person that has never, ever had, I mean, I never dream. I went to bed, Zoom, sleep until 6, 7, 8 in the morning, and I never have any kind of issues with my dreaming or my sleep or anything. So, but all this has been dumped on me for the most is 6 weeks, and I don't think it's 6 weeks, it's about 5 weeks that I've been into this. What I have gotten from Ursula is, number one, understanding of what this phenomenon is. She understands that this is real. I even went to a yoga studio. I spoke with one of the yoga masters, and they told me, yes, it's very real. It's not everybody, but it's very real that the people get into healing crisis. And on my case, double woman with a spiritual ascension. There is where I'm at now. I recommend you, if you feel like something strange has been happening to you after you have made certain changes or changes in your religious belief or the way you are eating, you are starting yoga, you are starting meditation, you are starting massages, get educated, find out what a healing crisis is, contact Ursula, because you are not going to be able to make it without a professional assistant. At least in my case, I know that if I cannot count on her being there for me, it is going to be very difficult, because it's a very, very deep, and I have a lot of support. My husband is next to me when I start my crying spells, when I feel like I'm lost. He just hugs me and he says, it's a process, it will pass, and he hugs me, and my son hugs me, and I have all the support available. But if you go through this without support, you are going to end up in a psychiatrist's office. You are going to end up with antidepressant, anti-anxieties. You are going to end up in a psychiatrist's ward, because no one understands what this is. This is a phenomenon. The good thing is that it's a phenomenon of, it's a good phenomenon. It feels awful. You feel like you are losing your mind. You feel like you lost control of your body. You start losing weight. You don't want to eat. I'm telling you, it's a complex, compound symptoms that you really think you're losing it. For what I've been reading, for the education that I have to keep looking and watching and reading and looking at YouTubes, It's not everybody that goes through it, but whoever goes through it needs professional assistance. I'm not talking professional psychologists, psychiatrists, physicians. They are not going to do it. It has to be someone that is connected with spirit, know about energy, know about spirit, know about the mind, and how each one interacts with each other in order to get you through the other side.
You had, when we spoke on email, you said that some wonderful things happened to you after our first session. Can you tell me about that? Because I don't know what it is.
Yes. Okay. So, first session, I slept through the night. Like around 5 in the morning, I wake up in the deepest of the depression that anybody could ever get into. It was something, I mean, that it dragged the whole day. A person like me, I'm a happy go-getter, planner. I'm always on the go. And that was, I mean, my bones ache. That deep the depression was. That was after the whole night that I slept, after Ursula has done the prayer and the treatment on me. So you'll say, well, this is contradictory. Keep listening to what had happened. I got through the day. I was so depressed that my husband said, okay, I'm going to read some scriptures and try to calm you down, because you really can get into panic attack. You can get into, I mean, so many things that I don't want to scare anybody, but be ready. So anyway, once my husband read the scripture, it was like a switch turned into my head. Like the treatment that I received from Ursula the night before, not only helped me to sleep through the night, but it kept working so I can come to an enlightenment of what is actually going on with me and what has been holding me for the past few days since I spoke with Ursula. And it's a fact. I realized that I am going through an awakening. I realized that the spiritual world is the truth, that all along my life, I have been living in a world that was not the real one. It's a world where you look at things from a different perspective of working, acquiring things, practicing your career, doing whatever, and you are doing, and you think that you are doing it. Well, once the switch went on, I came to the realization that I wasn't doing anything, that there was a force behind all that through my years of being a mother, raising my children, practicing my career, taking care of my parents, all that. I wasn't paying attention of what was real. Please, whoever is listening to this, pay attention to what is real, because what you look with your three-dimensional eyes, it is not the real thing. There is a force behind all that is keeping us going, that keeps our blood going through our veins, our heart pumping, our mind going. And when that spirit calls you for a special mission, if that's how we want to call it, or to change your life, changes are going to happen. And now what had happened to me is that I just basically, once the switch went on, I have focused my life into the spiritual. What is happening to me, it is totally spiritual. My body, my mind, my spirit is being changed in order to meet the demand of whatever that spirit world wants with me. And don't think that I'm talking about spirit world that, when I die, when I make my transition. No, it is a spiritual world that is in action at this very moment and is in charge of everything at this very moment. But I didn't have the awakening and see, oh my God, this is it. My body, my mind, my whole thing has to be changed in order to be able to help others and to help myself continue on this lifetime. It is nothing that I'm going to die and I'm going to be living in another, utopia somewhere. No, it's continue living where I'm living, but with the perspective of the other side. The angels are there. The spiritual guides are there. There are armies of angels, armies of entities that are helping each one of us that are going through this in order to prepare for whatever it is. I don't know what it is. Ursula has told me, you might not know what it is. When the time comes, you'll be shown what the next step is. At this point, a day like today, I don't know what it is. I'm telling you, I'm confused. I don't know what it is. I'm going through my symptoms. I'm going through my dreams. I'm going through that, but I'm going with a tool in my hand that I understand that everything is part of the puzzle. The dreams are part of the puzzle. The physical symptoms are part of the puzzle. And everything that's happening in my life at this point is part of a greater plan, which I didn't see. I was not aware before I had my treatment. And this is how I perceived it. I shared everything with my husband. My husband said, definitely, it is the changes that are coming. And my body is being prepared. I was telling to Ursula that the pattern of my discomforts of what I'm going on, it is like electricity that goes through my whole body from head to toes. And just think that you are connected to electrical cord for 10, 15 seconds and your whole body shakes. Luckily, that is not during the day. It's not during the day. That happens at night. I wake up and it's so painful that you think you are going to die, that you really think that something so awful is happening in your body that you are going to die. Well, as I said, I'm very proactive with my spiritual life and with my physical life, and I continue searching. And that is part of the symptoms for ascension. Your body, the energy in your body is being raised. And the physical body that you have right now, it is not prepared. It's very weak because I never nourished my physical or spiritual life with any kind of, well, I will go to church, I will listen, I will try to live a good life, quote unquote, do the best thing, take care of my children, take care of my parents. Well, that's not it. That is not it. That's beyond that. Your whole body is an energy source that has to be compatible with this new energy that now you're going to be carrying, and consequently it has to be prepared. One of those episodes was last night, not last night, this morning. I slept pretty good last night. This morning I wake up with these electrical shocks from the head, from even my organs inside. I could feel my bowels electrified. I could feel my brains electrified. I could feel everything electrified. And then since I understood that angels and spirit is working with me, I immediately claimed for the angels. I said, please help me to go to this, whatever it is. The only thing I got from them was, we are preparing you, just holding that, but you have a couple, and I'm glad it's only a couple. You have a couple of blockages that has to be cleared. Hopefully, Ursula, we can touch on that on my next appointment. There was blockages that were identified that unless I release those, I'm going to be having these symptoms, because what they are trying to do is release those blockages so that the energy can flow, because the energy gives you the symptoms because it cannot flow. That's what is going on. Don't ask me. I'm telling you, I'm in this journey for 5 weeks. I'm no expert whatsoever. I'm just telling you what I read and what I on my routine of prayers I could get. And I thank the angels that they are giving me some information about this, because I have 2 sons, and only the one that we live with, it has seen me. But if my other son sees in the state that I get when I'm in a real crisis, they will take me to a psychiatrist. There is no way around. Now, there is one thing I want to share with you. I have, let's say, today is a good night for me to sleep, and I will sleep like a baby from the time I put my head on the bed till next day. No symptom whatsoever through the night, nothing. My next day is a wonderful day with a twist, because when you are through the healing crisis, you are whole. You feel like you are not yourself anymore, that something has changed you and something is different. You cannot pinpoint it. You cannot pinpoint what it is, but something has changed. My husband says, you are the same. And I said, I am not the same. Something has changed in a matter of seconds. When that switch first went on, and I was thrown in the emotional healing crisis, which was very sudden. It was a matter of minutes. From 1 minute to the other, I was another person. I know that I changed. Anyway, so I sleep well tonight. Tomorrow is a wonderful day. If so, tomorrow night, it will be one of those nights where I go through, I will call it image training. I really don't know how to call it, because I have dreams. I have no nightmares anymore. Thank God I don't have nightmares. I have some dreams that I call it stupid dreams that I don't care for, but actually nightmares, I don't have any nightmares. Either I have stupid dreams or I don't dream at all, which is fine with me. Or at least I don't remember that I sleep at all. Okay, so my pattern of this training, and let's call it training because I don't know how to label it anymore. Let's say my pattern is every other day. I have a good day, I have a good night, I will have a good day, then I have a bad night, and I have a bad day, and that is every other day, to the point that I explained to Angela, to Ursula, that I like, for example, if I know that tomorrow I'm going to have a good day, I will schedule the things that I have to make decisions, clear mental decisions, and make payments and all that based on what is going to happen the night before. That schedule it is. It is just calendar. So I look at my calendar. Tomorrow I can call the insurance company. Tomorrow I can make appointment. Tomorrow I can call my doctor and find out lab work, because the day that is a bad day, my mind is not functional. My judgment is impaired. Everything is just havoc. Like it's described on everybody that has something to say about healing crisis. It is havoc. physically, mentally, emotional, spiritually, everything is havoc. The next day, you are in heaven. You don't have any symptoms. You don't have nothing. We go out for lunch. We go for a walk in the park. So it was very bizarre, which is a very bizarre situation to be, because you cannot plan anything. You actually have to go through that schedule.
Can you wrap it up now? Ileana, can you wrap it up?
Oh, sure.
Okay.
So one thing I can tell you is that I asked the angels, why this every other night? The answer, because your body cannot tolerate it on a daily basis. We have to give you a break in order to for you to go through that. Anybody going through this, you are not crazy, you are not sick, please call Ursula and get acquainted with her, get acquainted with what is going on, so you can have some support, because you are going to need it.
Thank you. So I'm going to stop now. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.